All right. We bring in Don Mattingly. The official numbers are 5,231 games over 36 seasons as a player, coach, manager, and you're going to your first World Series. How's it feel?
It feels pretty good, Dan. How many shows? You probably got the similar amount of shows,
Yeah,
right?
yes. And I haven't
But
won either. I haven't won
yeah,
a
no,
sports.
you've won for sure.
Uh,
Um,
what's your role as a bench coach for the Blue Jays?
uh, Anymore, it just feels less and less. I think when I first came here, John was, in his first full year of managing. I thought, I felt like my role was to come in and just be a voice for him and be another set of eyes as he went through it. Uh, it feels like it's getting less. I kind of look, DeMarlo Hale and myself are here. We're both over 60, and I call us the perspective coaches. We got to keep things in perspective as the season goes, and it gets a little crazy. You lose a couple games, and got to try to keep it in perspective. But in general, going through the game with John and staying up, I do more of the offensive side of, hey, you want to pinch hit here, we want to run, just kind of staying on top of a few things because he's usually thinking about pitching or what he's going to do next inning or whatever, and I just try to make sure just kind of keeping up with the game for him.
What was going through your mind when you're trailing in Game 7?
You know what? Trust. This has been a team that all year long, like through this postseason, we've came down to like we need to win last day of the season to give ourselves a few days and get healthy, get our pitching together. Uh, we get down a couple games, we lose the game in New York. We had a lead; it could have turned. And all year long, this has been a team that I could sit here and go, you know what? I trust these guys. And that doesn't mean it's going to work out. But for the most part, these guys show up and they play. They're a team, and they are really fun to be around.
Of all the teams that you're going to face in the World Series, and it happens to be the Dodgers, what are you thinking when you go back to Los Angeles? What kind of feelings?
No, good. I had a great run there in LA and walked away from there, feeling good. Didn't feel like, any negativity towards those guys. Um, and then going back, it's really more. It's kind of like going to New York at this time of year. It's like, hey, what do we have to do to win a game, right? And it's business. It's pretty much that for us. Obviously, I've never been in a World Series, so I'm going to enjoy this. I've been enjoying this ride with this team. Again, it's a fun team. It's a team you can trust. It's probably the best word you can say as a coach or a manager is that you can trust these guys.
What's it been like, though, all of those years where you're watching somebody else win a World Series or go to a World Series?
Uh, Different phases of that. Obviously, earlier as a player, you always feel like you're going to get there. Always felt like we were going to win it. Any level that I've ever been, we've won, and I always felt like we were going to win. In New York, as a player, I felt that way. As a coach, I felt that way. A coach in LA, I felt that way. Uh, Miami maybe had 1 year there. We had a little run, but it wasn't quite as good as I would have liked there. Um, so yeah, I've always felt like I was going to get there and have a chance to win.
What's it like now to have a younger son? I think you have three grown boys, but now a younger son watching dad on the big stage in a World Series.
It's been a lot of fun watching him go through this, and the difference I think with my older boys, we never got on this run, so they didn't do this, extra month of baseball where you get to go and you get to have the celebrations and you get to go through, losing the first couple of games here and having to, have some must-win games in different spots on the road. But to have him go through it and kind of see his love of baseball grow, and that's what's been kind of fun this year is he's just really kind of gotten into baseball. Kirk hits a couple homers. The next thing you know, Louis wants to be a catcher. And
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, this is great. So it's been fun to watch him go through it.
But go back, and this is what, 95 when you hurt your back, or you have to make that decision that you're going to retire. And how old are your boys then? Like, if it doesn't happen, you're going to continue to play for a little while longer. And that team was going to World Series, so you may have held on even longer, but you wouldn't have been at home with your boys at that time. So I don't know. Can you look at it as a blessing that you did get hurt and then you retired so you could be at home?
100%. I don't. I feel like I had a choice at that point in '95, and I was actually starting. I finally had kind of found a routine, with my back that I was able to start to figure out. Okay, I can play, do this much work, and I stay fairly healthy. Right. So that part I'd kind of figured out, but the family part I couldn't figure out because all I was doing in '95 and really '94, I probably would have retired after '94 if the strike didn't come along. Uh, all I was doing, Dan, was in Jersey. The kids weren't really coming anymore. They were at an age where they were starting to play Little League and they didn't want to come to New York and sit around and do nothing. Uh, so all I was doing off the road was I'd go home, I'd go to the bedroom, I'd go down to the kitchen, grab a cup of coffee, and go to the ballpark and rinse and repeat every day. And that just wasn't enough at that point. And for me, so the baseball part I still loved. I still felt like I was starting to get where I could produce again. But that other side of it, like the thought of my boys, me trying to play more and not being a part of their lives, I just couldn't do that. And I'm so glad I did what I did. And because I don't think they would have known me near as well if I would have kept playing. And yeah, I lost out. At the end of the day, I didn't get rings I may have had a chance for, but I would not change it at one bit.
Don Mattingly, the Blue Jays bench coach and former batting champ. We met in 1983, and there's actually a report that I did on CNN on you. I think it's from 1984. It's on YouTube. And I will say I looked pretty damn good back then. But you had that mustache. You looked pretty good back then.
Hey, I don't even want to look at those pictures because you feel good on the inside. You feel the same, and then you see the mirror, and you're like, "Ooh, the skin was a lot tighter in those days."
How did you feel about Donnie Baseball as a nickname?
You know what? I didn't mind it because number one, it came from Kirby, who was just an awesome guy who he started this Donnie baseball thing at a dinner we would do in Rochester.
Kirby Puckett gave you that nickname?
Kirby.
Oh, wow.
And it started in Rochester, New York. We did a dinner for Kenny Kaiser. He passed away, God rest his soul. But we do it from every year, and you kind of hang around afterwards. You might have a few drinks, and Kirby's talking and gets going, and Donnie baseball, Donnie baseball. And it just kind of hit, and it stuck somehow. I don't know how it got passed on. But then I thought later, I said, I've probably been called a lot worse. So I'm like, I should probably, that one's okay.
Not critique, I guess, analyze Shohei Ohtani at the plate.
I probably shouldn't do that. But probably shouldn't do that. But, I mean, I haven't looked at him really, really close. But I think like anyone, there are places to go to get him out. Right. And that doesn't mean you can go there all the time. It means you got to find different ways to get there.
But the strategy of having him lead off, could you imagine in today's game, you might lead off?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's different, right? I think it depends on your lineup, right? I think one of my biggest years, Billy put me in a 2-hole, and that was ahead of his time, hitting in front of Winfield behind Ricky. So that was a great spot to hit. I always felt like the 2-hole was probably the best spot to hit in if you have a deep lineup, and that means your 8 and 9 guys are getting on base. Which for me in that year, I think was Willie Randolph hitting 9th with maybe a 400 on base, and then Ricky, it was just a perfect spot. But yeah, the game, I think we've seen it with Atlanta when they did it with Soler in the World Series. They threw him in the 1 hole. He hit some big homers. It gets him an extra at bat. because that spot comes around. If it's a close game in the ninth, you're getting to the ninth, that spot's probably coming around for the extra at bat. And who do you want to get it? A leadoff guy that maybe a high on base guy, or do you want the guy that can change the game right there?
So you don't want to give me any secrets. You don't want to give the Dodgers any secrets on what you think of Ohtani.
I mean, probably the whole league tries to do the same thing, Dan, with the information that they have today. They're, everybody knows where you can go or where the spots are to get him out. But that doesn't mean when he's swinging good, he doesn't get there. And it doesn't mean you can just keep going there, right? You can't just keep doing it. You got to find different ways to get to that spot or those spots, whatever they are. And that's what makes it tough. That makes him tough. Mookie, Freddie, they got a club now. So, we're going to show up and play. So it'll be a series.
What's your favorite Ricky Henderson story?
I probably think of it differently. I think not necessarily a story, just memories, right? Of, when we go to Oakland, he invited me out. We have lunch at his house with his girl and just seeing his place. And I remember he had this beautiful weight room. I'm like, man, this equipment's nice. And I said, use this in the winter. He's like, nah, I basically do push-ups and sit-ups and run sprints. So he had this beautiful weight room that he never really used. But I just have memories like that. Just him and I just kind of hit it off, on the field and off. And I thought that's what I think about.
Did he talk in third person to you?
No, I think we all kind of like take this stuff a little further than it needs to go, right? But Ricky was sharp for me. He was a player that knew what he was doing and was smart. I felt like off the field too. Wasn't doing crazy stuff.
Do you feel like an underdog in this series?
Yeah, a little bit. I think you have to. The Dodgers have got experience. They won last year. They've showed you see a little bit of the Bulls, like in Michael's years with the regular season doesn't really, it's like they get in, who wants to play them. So they've got that experience and that pedigree. But the great thing about our club, and I've said it a couple of times, they just show up and play. It feels like Sandlot with our guys. I'm kidding. They look like they're having fun. They've always just showed up and played. We lose 2 or 3 in a row during the regular season, they show up and play. If we've won 5 or 6 in a row, they look the same. They show up and they play. And I think that's what we'll do. I think we'll show up and we'll play. We play pretty good baseball. We catch the ball. We run the bases decent. We can put it in play a little bit. Their starting pitching is really, really good. Those the 4 guys they threw that last series, they're all number ones. So it's going to be a battle.
Do you think about the Hall of Fame?
Now and then, more when people bring it up, only and I think I've changed over the years. You're kind of like, yeah, whatever. I've played my cards or whatever. But I think I look back at it now and go, you know what? There's not a guy in there, a pitcher in there that I don't think I could hit. There really isn't. There's never been a guy that I didn't think I could hit. And I know that if I was on the field with those guys, I wouldn't be out of place. But after that, what am I going to do? You keep going.
Yeah, but we put in guys who got injured and their careers cut short. We do this in all sports, especially football.
Yeah, but Dan, you know what? I'm not going to politic. I basically did what our club does. I showed up and I played. Now I'm raising boys and getting along in baseball, getting older. I think I'd be just as happy being a bench coach or an advisor or coaching Louis' 10U team. It's just like, and just get a different perspective over time. So that part of my life is, those cards have been played, but I do feel like I know I wouldn't be out of place on a field with any of those guys.
So Randy Johnson, Steve Carlton, no problem. Bring them on?
No, I say bring them on. I don't say no problem. You know what I mean? There's guys that give you problems but you figure them out. You got to try to figure it out. And Randy was kind of the opposite. I hit Randy early really well. As he started to get the slider over, he'd give me more and more trouble, right? And that doesn't mean that like Carlton, I faced him, but he was kind of past his prime where I didn't get to see the nasty slider and all that. But I just know that I figured it out. I figured it out. I've never felt like anybody really ever overpowered me, and nobody that I felt like threw too hard for me. Any of that kind of stuff, and just kind of always figured it out.
Great to talk to you again. Congrats. Have fun. We'll be watching, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dan. It's always good to talk to you. And I didn't get thrown out of a game this year.
I know. I thought I could have gotten a uniform, a Toronto uniform. I got your Dodger uniform over there, still on display in the mannequin.
Oh my.
And
no more of those days.
I have your Hitman poster in the man cave as well.
I like it, Dan. All right, you guys have a good one.
Thank you, Donnie. So Friday night World Series, Donnie baseball. I did not know that Kirby gave him that nickname. But Kirby was such an enthusiastic guy. He was always in a good mood. All right, let me take a break. We're back after this Dan Patrick Show.